A great technique that we're taught in ABC is to speak in threes. Using this technique, I'll tell you all a little bit about myself, where I've been, where I'm at now, and where I'm going. My name is Kyle James. I was raised by my mom on the south side of Chicago. I went to Southern Elementary School, as some of you all may be familiar with, as it's in the Beverly area. Shout out to Nick, who went there too, Mr. Lomaglio. I graduated from St. Rita High School, and now I'm a freshman at the University of Chicago, majoring in economics with a specialization in business. With this degree in the future, I plan on going into investment banking at a bulge bracket firm. A common question that I was faced with during my time at St. Rita was, Kyle, what is ABC? I love when people ask me this question. ABC is a garden. Advice beyond the classroom, ABC is a garden because its main purpose is to grow the leaders of the future. We start off as raw, yet talented young seeds. But as we matriculate through the program, we begin to gain invaluable skills that help us grow into formidable young trees. Skills like making first impressions, networking, the art of small talk. These all serve as the soil, water, and sunlight to help us grow. Tonight's presentation will focus on networking. So, hold on to your seats and take this journey with me. It all started my sophomore year of high school when one of my football teammates, Nick Lomaglio, came up to me and began to tell me about ABC. He told me that I should apply. He told me about all the influence that it had on him, how it helped take his professional skills to the next level. All of this sounded so amazing coming from a fellow peer. So I decided to take his advice, and I applied. And thankfully, I was accepted in. Once I was in ABC, I began to gain so many amazing soft skills of business, the professional world. I learned how to do a handshake properly, how to make a first impression. I learned how to send a cold email, how to follow up, how to network. But all while I was learning all these skills, I began to make great connections in the process. One of these great connections was meeting Mr. Bernie Del Giorno, who is one of St. Rita and the University of Chicago's greatest benefactors. I remember the story so clearly. I met Mr. Del Giorno at the end of an ABC banquet. He came up to me, introduced himself, shook my hand, and then he gave me his business card. I reached out to Bernie, and that's when our connection began. We began to have conversations, and through these conversations, we began to develop a relationship. And as we had more and more conversations and our relationship became stronger, he began to tell me how he thought I would be a great fit at the University of Chicago. Now, mind you, before talking with Nick and Bernie, the University of Chicago wasn't even in my top 10 colleges list. Unbelievable. But on this day in history, I'm proud to say that I am a student at the University of Chicago, the number 6 ranked school in the country. Now there are younger people looking up to me for advice, trying to network with me. I've also been accepted into some esteemed investment management and wealth organizations, all of which will help take my professional skills to a more elite level. Long story short, I say this all to say that by listening, following up with communication, and utilizing all the skills that I've learned in ABC, the entire trajectory of my life has changed. Now that, my friends, is networking. So, tonight will feature Mr. Lomaglio, who will speak after me, followed by a student presentation, and then a panel with ABC. I'm proud and honored to bring to the stage the man who has helped harvest so many seeds that you will see tonight. He's been growing leaders since 2012, when he birthed the program at St. Rita, and since then it's expanded to 2 other schools, Mother Macaulay and Carmel Catholic. Without further ado, please help me welcome to the stage Mr. Nicholas Lomaglio.
Great job, Kyle. Absolutely. Give Kyle a round of applause. All right. Well, thank you all for coming. We appreciate everybody that's taken the time to come try and see what we're accomplishing here. And what we're really ultimately trying to hope to do is showcase some of the students that are coming through this program. And one of the integral parts of what we're trying to teach is public speaking. So you can see that we are opening this stage up for the students to come out here and face what some would call their greatest fears. So as you see these students present tonight, understand how far outside of their comfort zone that they're truly going, because it gives you a higher level of appreciation for what they're doing up here. And I'm impressed every time I see them present. So last month we talked about first impressions. And one of the things that we opened with, and this always happens when we first start the class, and for those that are new tonight that didn't see last month, this will be new information, but for those of you that were here, it's going to be repeated, but I think it's worth talking about again. A lot of times when the students come into ABC, they immediately think we're just going to learn how to make money. It's all about doing business deals, we're going to learn how to public speak, and it's all about making money. And that couldn't be further from the truth. That's not what this is about. What we're truly trying to teach is actually the curriculum tonight is how to build a network. How to build a network. That's the most important thing that you can learn how to do. And so for those of you that were here last week, you're going to have to bear with me on this because you're going to hear it again, but it's an important point. We need to address the difference between money and networks, because there's a big difference between the two of them. Both are important. I'm not saying money isn't important, but both need to be addressed because they're very different. So the first thing we look at with money, right? What you got to understand about money is money comes and goes. Money comes and goes. Money is transactional. You make money, you spend money. You win money, you lose money. You invest money, it goes up, it goes down. You get a job that pays you money, that job goes away and doesn't pay you money anymore. Now your network doesn't come and go. Your network, when constructed properly, is going to be with you for the rest of your life. Money, believe it or not, does not care about you. Money will take you down a dark path. Money will derail you and not even think twice about it. Your network, when constructed properly, is bumpers on a bowling alley. You go too far right, it brings you back to the middle. You go too far left, it brings you back to the middle. Your network is there to keep you centered. Money couldn't care less which way you go. And with that said, believe it or not, Money is not going to remember you when you're gone. Money does not care about you. Money's already moved on. But your network, the people around you, the people you help, the people you instill your values, the people that instill values in you, that lives on forever. So understand that this program is not about money. Money is a byproduct of it, which is why a lot of students join the program, because they do ultimately want to learn what are the ways to make money and manage it efficiently and ultimately help other people with it. But the most important building block in all of this is your network. That's an asset that lives with you forever. So tonight, we're going to talk about networking, okay? So I always like doing this because I always find the textbook definition of things interesting because it never really truly helps explain what it is. The textbook definition of networking is the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? The one thing I did get out of that is that there are two primary networks that you have. You have your personal network, you have your professional network. Your personal network is exactly what you think it would be. It's your friends, your family, your acquaintances. Your personal network is what you build first. You don't come out in 5th grade wheeling and dealing building a professional network. In 5th grade, you're making friends, you're figuring out how to interact with others, how you can help people, how they can help you. Your personal network is built first, and then your professional network is built later on. And the professional network is more of a strategic alliance with people that might share a similar interest or benefit from each other's contacts. And eventually, as you grow both networks, they come together. And that's a pretty nice spot to be, is when your professional network and your personal network are now one. And it does happen as you develop it properly. So what are the components of a network? People, information, and opportunities. Rita, men, how do we speak? In threes, right? People, information, and opportunities. And guess what's at the top of those variables? People. People. Without people, networks don't exist. And that's the problem with, I think, what's been happening with this tech revolution, is we've gotten away from actually being around people. Everything's digital. People are the most important, because then information comes from people. And I don't mean like an insider hot stock tip information. I mean like, hey, you should listen to this really cool podcast. It talks a lot about kind of like mental health and work-life balance. Or you should read this article, this op-ed I saw in the Wall Street Journal. It's really fascinating. That's the kind of information that can flow. And then it's opportunities. And opportunities are exactly what you think they could be. It could be, hey, they're interviewing for a job over here. I'm going to give them your name. Or, hey, I met this awesome girl. I'm going to set you guys up on a date. There's opportunities. Personal, professional. But when you have these three variables, people, information, and opportunities, how do you actually harness all three? And that's where this program, what we're trying to teach, comes in. We are trying to teach our students how to be COIs. COI. And what does that stand for? It stands for Center of Influence. A center of influence. What do centers of influence do? It's exactly how it sounds. If you're at the center, you're in the middle of something. If you can influence, it means you have the ability to direct the actions and opinions and decisions of others. You have the ability to influence. The best networkers in the world are COIs. are COIs. Now, the interesting thing about COIs is everybody thinks to be a really good COI, you just got to exert all this influence. And that's not the case. You need to be able to be influenced as well. Because if you're not able to be influenced, it means you're not listening. You're closed off. You're not listening to other people's ideas, other different ways of thinking, other opportunities coming from other COIs. So not only giving influence is important, but receiving influence is just as important. Because what a COI ultimately does is they're just directing traffic inside of their network. People, I'm going to introduce you there. Information, I've got to tell my buddy about that. Opportunity, I got to tell them about that job opportunity. You're in the center of all this activity, and COIs are making it introduced to people outside of that immediate network. So if we look at this from kind of a basic standpoint, what do farmers do? All right, let's look at a farmer, which, by the way, in my opinion, is probably one of the most difficult professions on the planet. But their process is pretty simple. And you're going to hear about this process going tonight. They plant, they grow, and they harvest. They plant a seed, they grow that seed into a crop by tending to it, watering it, fertilizing it, protecting it from predators. And then they ultimately harvest the crop. And what does harvest mean? They sell it, or they eat it, or they trade it. They plant, they grow, they harvest. COIs are farmers. It's very basic. COIs are farmers. Except a COI's field is their network. Their crop isn't corn, wheat, and soybeans. Their crop is people, information, and opportunities. The unique thing about COIs that's different from a farmer is the best COIs in the world that I saw some very good ones in my life. A gentleman named Ron Santella, who is a mentor of mine, he could write a PhD thesis on this topic. And the topic is value exchange. Value exchange. And that's what the best COIs do. And what value exchange is, you provide value to somebody without the expectation of financial compensation in return. You provide a benefit or value to somebody else, and you are doing that because you are trying to help. And then what happens is an exchange takes place, and that individual is going to reciprocate. And that individual is then going to provide you a value or a benefit without the expectation of compensation. We see this in our neighborhood. I'm a plumber, you're an electrician. I'll fix your sink, you rewire my outlet. We exchanged value. We exchanged value. And the best COIs do this. They take a relationship out of their field, they walk it on down to another COI and say, listen, I think this person is really smart, they're a great individual to network with, and you plant it in their field. And then, good luck. Tend to it, grow it, and you walk away. But then what ends up happening is the truly good COIs, they see that, and they're like, oh, well, I've got to make a great intro back because they gave me this. That's the value exchange of it. And that's how the best COIs connect. It's because there's an understanding of you give before you get, but at the end of it, you do ultimately receive benefit from the person you're working with. So the most interesting part of the plant, grow, and harvest process of being a COI, and this is where I see a lot of people fail, and I'll raise my hand, I've failed on it, is in the grow phase. What happens is we end up planting too many seeds, and I'm like, look at this, I got 1,000 contacts in this field. But if you're not tending to those relationships, you're not actively growing and developing it, they're going to wither away. They're going to wither away. And that's the problem with LinkedIn. I got 1,250 connections on LinkedIn. Look at that network. How many of those people can you call on the phone without looking at their profile? That's the problem with LinkedIn. We think we're connected. We're not. And the digital age has totally removed the interpersonal connectivity. So that's why learning how to be a COI in the physical sense is ultimately going to benefit, especially the next generation. You heard me talk about it. This pandemic has socially stunted your whole generation where you've been robbed of 2 years of sociability. You guys figure out, and girls figure out, how to create this and connect people. You're going to be far ahead of the game. Because back to that point, if we look to the next step, I can put 1,000 people in this field in my network, and I can try and manage all 1,000. I can make a call, I can send an email, I can follow up. But when you become a true COI and you really start to figure out how it works, your field isn't 1,000 people. Your field is 10 COIs that have 100 contacts. Because it's a lot easier to maintain 10 COIs than it is 1,000 individuals. And that's what we're trying to learn. And that's what we're trying to teach our next generation, is how all of you can become COIs and understand value exchange. You know how powerful that is? If you guys can figure out how to do that? So we're here, and we're obviously interested in the rate of return that we can get from these networks. So if we look, in my opinion, there's two types of return that you can get from being a COI. There's physical income, where, hey, I'm going to refer you this deal. It's not necessarily value exchange, but I'm going to get paid for doing the deal. And that's what ends up happening at the higher levels of COIs with business. They end up monetizing it, making money off of it. The second return you get, and this is actually my favorite return, is what I call psychic income, mental income, emotional income, psychic income. Because the emotional income you get from helping other people and providing value is second to none. And the more psychic income you put out there in the world, I think physical income follows, because more people want to help. Because if you go into this expecting to only make money on it, it's not going to work. But if you go in with the understanding that you are going to try and provide true value and generate that psychic income, that good feel from helping others, it's an incredible combination. So now I'm really excited, because now you get to hear from some of our students. And what they're going to do tonight is they're going to talk you through the process of the plant, grow, harvest. And we're going to try and walk through and give you some best practices on what we try to learn in order to ultimately be successful as a COI. So if everybody could help me welcome Nick Aiden out to the stage, it'd be much appreciated.
Thank you, Nick.
My name's Nick Aiden. I was born and raised on the south side in Mount Greenwood, where I then chose to attend St. Rita, where I was a 3-year member of the ABC program. I'm currently a second-year student athlete at the University of Chicago, majoring in economics, and also still working as a managing director of the Advice Beyond the Classroom program. And I just wanted to go over some of the qualitative details of networking. I know we talked a lot of details so far. So the first thing I wanted to go over was the two types of networks. So Nick talked about the personal versus professional network. And just to recap that one more time. So your personal network obviously is, like Nick talked about, is your close family, your close friends, and people that you have in that square. And then going to your professional network, that's more of a network going towards the high school and college kids. The network that you're reaching out to for job or internship opportunities, that you're really reaching out to find out more about their industries or whatever jobs that they're working in. But the most important part that I want to go through right now that we haven't really talked about is some of the qualitative details of a network. And this is really important in terms of building your network. We talked about how important a network is to have and where it could lead you, but I want to talk about how important who those people are in your network. So the first thing is having the right people in your network, and I usually break it down into three things for looking at people that I want to add into my network. The three traits would be I want gritty people, people with energy, and selfless people. So breaking down those three things, in terms of gritty people, just looking for people that are willing to do hard work and have that trait of put their head down and willing to work on whatever industry they're in and whatever they're going at. They give it their all at whatever they're doing and want to do their best work at all times. And then going into energy, you want people with positive energy in your network. You don't want people that are just, like not willing to help you out. If you hop on a call with them, they're not engaged with you. Those aren't the people that are going to encourage you to take those next steps or that are really going to be a positive influence in your network. And just surrounding yourself around positive people is going to make you a positive person inherently as well. And it's just going to encourage you to keep on moving on and keep carrying on that positive energy to other people. And other people are going to appreciate that, and that's just going to make the world just a little bit better place in that aspect. And then just selflessness. I think anyone really willing to reach out and actually have a networking call or networking coffee with you, they're selfless in a way there, but just people that are willing to give their time to help you out, those are the people that you appreciate most in your network, and you know you could reach out to those people, and they're more than willing to help you out. And no matter if you're trying to go in their industry with their company or whatever, they're going to connect you with the right people because they care more about your success than like what's going on with their time. And when you form that good connection with them, and if they're really that good person in your network, they're going to take that 30 minutes out of their day, no matter what, to make sure that you're going in the right places, and they want to help you out to get you to where you want to go. And then the last part of all this, and you're going to build that great network with these positive people, the last part of all this is the psychic income that comes from this. Like Nick said, in the end, this isn't about the money. It's way more about that, and you're not building the network. I know when you're building a professional network, you're building it for the job that you want, or you're trying to find the career that you want. But in the end, when you get there, what are you going to do when you have the job you want? What are you going to do with that professional network with all these people that you integrated into your network? Are you going to connect other people that are now reaching out to you for opportunities with some of the people that you've met? And now you could be that COI that Nick talked about. And there's a lot of power within that in connecting the right people with the right opportunities and just continually giving back. That's not only going to make you feel good for giving back to other people. That's a lot of the kids that are here now, Kyle and I, and everything Nick's doing at Rita with the ABC program. We just want to give back because me personally, like, the ABC program is the reason that I'm at the University of Chicago and pursuing a career in investment banking. So being able to give back if kids have questions on networking or just how to start in high school, because I know it's a really hard thing, to reach out to me, and I'm more than willing to give that advice because that's the advice that professionals were able to give me in the past, and it feels really good to be able to give that back. So being a COI one day when you make it, just giving back to other people, and it's going to make those kids appreciate it even more and notice that it's their job as a COI to keep giving back to people. So just remembering like the points of like having the right people. And I go back to the saying, you see it on a lot of like millionaire mindset Instagram pages, like surround yourself around 5 millionaires and you'll be the sixth. I try to think about it in a different way in terms of surround yourself around like 5 positive people or 5 people that have traits that like you want to embody, and you're going to embody those yourself. And in terms of all these are going to set you on the right direction towards forming that that positive network. So now I'm going to turn it over to Ella Mulcrone to start talking about maybe the steps of creating your professional network.
Hi, I'm actually not Ella Mulcrone, I'm Sam Conjar. I am currently a senior at Mother Macaulay, and I have grown up in Beverly in the Christ the King Parish with my parents and 4 siblings. Growing up as the middle child in a family of 4, I was able to learn some networking skills very early. Learning how to navigate all my siblings' personalities while also being able to meet and connect with people of many different ages allowed me to start my network very young, which is what I'm going to be talking to you about today. The first step of starting your network and planting those seeds is to get involved. You have to give yourself the opportunity to meet and connect with as many people as possible. At Macaulay, I've been a member of the ABC program for 3 years, and I'm currently president. I'm also vice president of National Honor Society, a member of the Senior Advisory Board, and I am a student ambassador leader. All of these opportunities give me the chance to connect with not only peers, but also faculty, staff, and members of the community. Getting involved is easy, and it's something that each and every one of us can do today. Ways to do this include volunteering, working with nonprofits, or joining leadership boards. Getting involved is the easiest part, but it's what you do from there that truly matters, which leads me to the next step, which is to reach out. You have to take the initiative to connect to these people that you have gotten involved with. One thing to remember when doing this is to give before you get. No one is going to be willing to help you out right away, forming your network, or just giving you a helping hand. You have to reach out to them and make a great first impression so that it will increase their likelihood of helping you in the future. 2 ways to do this include scheduling a meeting with them or just sending a cold email to introduce yourself and ask them what you can do to help. After making these initial involvements and connecting, the third and final step is persistence. You have to continue to challenge yourself and push yourself outside of your comfort zone to meet and connect with as many people as possible. One personal example of when I've used these 3 steps is last year when I was looking for a babysitting job. The first step I took to get involved was to reach out through my personal network of my sister. I asked her for her babysitting contacts, and she was able to get me involved in the Southside Babysitters Club Facebook page. From there, I took the initiative to take the second step and connect. I answered many families' opportunities, and within 1 week was connected with the family that I work for every day after school. Then, I took the third and final step of being persistent. Through this family, I have been able to connect with many families in my neighborhood and have grown my network throughout the whole community. Now that you have these 3 steps of planting your network and an example, I'm going to hand it off to Ella Mulcrone, who will talk to you about growing that network after planting those first initial seeds. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm the actual Ella Mulcrone. I am currently a junior at Mother Macaulay, and I've been a member of the ABC program since my sophomore year. This slide is all about growing your network. The reason I'm here tonight is not because I'm a president or vice president within this program, but I am here because of a simple email I sent to Mr. Lomaglio following the last presentation that ABC put on. In this email, it was nothing fancy or special. All I said was a few words saying thank you for speaking and a few questions. And in turn, I received this opportunity to speak up here tonight. And in this instance, Mr. Lomaglio was the COI. And it was this experience that made me realize that I too can become a COI, because it's not about the size of your network. It's about the opportunities that you can give to serve your network. The second step of growing your network is following up. Building a network is all about maintenance and interaction. So after every conversation that you have with someone, you want to follow it up with a simple email just saying thank you to let the connection know that the connection matters to you and that you want to continue it in the future. This can just be a simple word saying thank you, and if you want to make it more personal, you can make a handwritten note. Both of these should be sent within the first 24 to 48 hours following the conversation, so that the connection knows that the relationship matters to them and that you want to continue it. The final step of growing your network is maintenance. As your network grows and you progress throughout your career, your network will inevitably grow with you. In this instance, it can be difficult to keep track of all the names and the careers of everyone in your network. So you want to make a simple template you want to make an Excel spreadsheet, fit with all the names, emails, careers, as well as a simple note about the person to make conversation easier the next step. If anyone is interested in receiving a template for this spreadsheet or a follow-up email, reach out after the presentation in a follow-up email, and one can be sent to you. The final part of building your network is harvesting, which Kyle James will speak about next.
I know you all have probably heard enough from me already, so I'll be brief as I explain how to harvest seeds that you've already planted, as the panel will go further into detail on how to monetize these ideas. Congrats, you've made it. It has taken a lot of hard work and strenuous connection making to get to this point. This doesn't mean that you've reached the pinnacle, as there's still more room to grow and still more connections to be made. But now, you have built up a solid network and developed a strong reputation as a COI. Now, your job as a COI is to facilitate connections with other COIs, further expanding the network. Making connections between other COIs develops relationships exponentially that will provide numerous benefits, both personally and professionally. These relationships are so crucial because they help form long-lasting connections among a wide range of people. Once you cement your spot as a COI, it is your responsibility to use your influence, not only to connect other COIs and to broaden the network, but to help grow others that are coming after you. It's time to harvest those seeds. For the true mark of a great person is not how much one has accomplished, but is rather how many people that they bring with them.